So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are, and welcome to another interview of the Shield on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and tonight I'm joined by two members from the band Uncured. They're a rock band, like a rock metal band from New Jersey, and I have the two of its members. They're a four-piece. So, uh, guys, how are you tonight?
How we doing? I'm Rex.
And I'm Zach. We're with Uncured. We're stoked to be here. Thank you for having us on the show.
Oh, no, thank you for doing it. So yeah, we were discussing offline, like you're the two blonde people from the band because the other two members are not blonde. Like like you
Well, listen, we talked to them about dyeing their hair, and we could be four blondes, but that's already been taken.
For non-blondes.
Yeah.
for non-blondes.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be funny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So are you guys brothers? Because you look so alike.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm 2 years older. We are brothers, not twins.
You
But,
could pass for twins.
Yeah, that's what we get all the
You know,
time.
occasionally, sometimes we do if like only one person has a membership somewhere. You know, no,
No,
I'm kidding.
we don't
I'm
do
kidding.
that.
We don't do that. We don't scam any businesses, but you know, we definitely could pass for twins. I think also in person though, you will notice that I'm much bigger and stronger looking.
No, you are much. I am much bigger and stronger.
No, I mean in person you can see more differences, but yeah,
Like I have longer hair.
yes.
Yeah, but another thing you could do is like each of like if you don't want to break up with your girlfriend, you send the other one to break up with her.
We were just talking about something like this. I don't know if we should get into it on
No,
interview.
I don't know if that's quite interview. Let's get.
Yeah, that's not interview material, but it,
Yeah,
it would be funny as hell. So
We'll cut this
here.
part in post. Yeah, fix it up.
Yeah, no, we're here
No,
to discuss the single "Let's Break Out,"
Yes.
which is the single that you released at the beginning of January. So I listened to the song. It has some synth on it. You know, it has a lot of like oh. So it's a very catch along song. So tell me, what's the song about? What's the inspiration for "Let's Break Out"?
So, Let's Break Out is the most upbeat, positive, feel good song that you will ever hear Uncured do. And I think that the upcoming EP is a very nice variety of like emotional depth, I would say. And Let's Break Out is a bit more, substantially more on the shallow end. But I think it was also important for us to have, a song that was more of just like an overall kind of feel good celebration. Where it's a little bit more about like the earworm and the energy and the vibe of the song as opposed to telling like a deeper story there. But yeah, we all decided to go with it first just because that first hook is so infectious that everybody that I've ever played it for will come back and be humming it days later.
Not to mention, it's the last song we've been playing in our live set on our last tour and on our upcoming tour, and it's the melody. Since it's the last song, you're going to remember it. You're going to be singing it after our set, after the other band, on the way home, and that's just what we want.
Yeah, of course. That's it's got that sing along special appeal, a la Breaking Benjamin or something
Yes.
like
Yes.
that.
Oh, good.
That
I love
it
that.
gets in your head, like because they had a lot of those. So the album, I have a like an artwork. Is the EP going to be called My Design?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. I'm gonna show it right here because I have the artwork, but I wanted to ask because what if the album's not called My Design? So here we have the artwork for the upcoming EP.
Yes, the magic bag. Yes.
Does it have a date that you're dropping this?
The tentative date was June 2nd. I know some
June 9th.
9th.
Now. Yeah, June 9th.
So some things have been moved around a little bit, but yeah, we're going to be releasing at least one or two more singles before that. That's still in the next like couple weeks,
And it hasn't been confirmed yet, but we were talking about releasing the next single, which will be "Fight This War," and I can say it because the track listing is available online. But yeah, the next single will be "Fight This War," and we were talking about releasing it right around the time of Welcome to Rockville Festival down in Daytona, Florida.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Because we're going to be playing that festival, and
That's a huge festival.
I'm beyond excited for that. But ideally, we'd like to put that song out a couple days or a week prior to it, so that anybody seeing us will also be checking out "Fight This War."
That's right.
Who else is playing that festival this year?
So I know there's like a ton of all the like rock and metal bands. Like
Well,
I
like-
know
like-
Motionless in White is
Well,
playing.
big picture. Basically, everybody is playing
True.
that festival.
Every-
But on
name
our
a
day,
band, likely they're playing.
yeah, like it has headliners anywhere from, I think, Pantera to Incubus
To Tool.
Tool.
Pantera.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, you said that.
Pantera. Motionless in White is playing. I think on our stage right after us or two after us is an up and coming artist who's really killing it now called Nothing Nowhere. So I can't wait to see them perform.
I could pull it up here.
Awesome. And the artwork for this, what what are we looking at? I know there's like an egg, but what's inside the egg?
Well, that's exactly what we wanted the viewer to think, right? So Let's Break Out and the egg obviously go pretty hand in hand. And the insinuation is that Uncured is ready to break and we're out, if you will. And we think that, over the next release, it's going to be a bit of a transformative process, and obviously this
Okay.
symbolizes what's to come.
Okay, so you guys are on the verge of breaking out. So yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, so you're doing that tour in Florida. That's like a huge tour. Like who is going to be playing there? And I was listening to some other of your tracks of other singles that you put out in the years, and you actually have a cover of Sabotage by Beastie Boys.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I have that album on vinyl.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
the-
I'm
and-
glad you had a chance to listen to a bunch of our covers as well. Like we also did Roots Bloody Roots when we played in South America because Sepultura from Brazil.
Yeah.
And we do plan on do more covers as
Well,
well.
we're playing one this set.
Yes, it's on my design actually.
Yeah, so we have a cover on that track listing as well. It's a song you may have heard of called One Step Closer, and we're going to be playing it live on all the upcoming shows, which is going to be awesome because I
Yes.
can't wait to hear everybody scream, "Shut up, I don't
So
talk to you."
who's doing the rapping and the singing?
So Rex does all of the singing on the recordings, but at
Yeah.
the live show, we're all going to be singing in the chorus because like Linkin Park did it. They had the guitarist singing in addition to Chester.
Yeah. So to answer your question, we have 3 vocalists doing work live, but on the recording I did all of it. So like it's nice in some songs to be able to mix it up. So like I watched how they did it. Linkin Park would do it, and Chester would never sing.
You just say the lines.
before."
You like the
So
chorus.
our bassist is doing, like, Mike would pick up that line. He would go, "Just like before," and then everything you say to me
Takes me one step closer to the
and then with
edge,
the bassist,
and I'm about to break.
Yeah, so it was just fun to kind of try all the different variations of how we could possibly do that, and we do change it a little bit between the choruses. But yeah, no, it's just that kind of work is very, very fun to experiment with. Yeah.
Yeah, so you cover Beastie Boys, Linkin Park. Any song that you would really like? This would be so fun to cover. Like,
Well, we do a lot of like mini covers on our Instagram because as you know, like nowadays it's all about Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. So
Yeah.
we've as a band, like we need to be present there as well. So we do a lot of like short covers. Like if you look at our Instagram, we recently put up a Rex did a vocal cover of Saw's the Law, which as you know, Whitechapel's deathcore super heavy. And then we also did
Just today we posted. Do you know the song "I'm Blue" by Eiffel 65 from back in the day?
oh my God, I'm still trying to forget that song.
Exactly.
And-
So then they did the remake with Dave.
I'm
David-
blue.
Yeah.
Da-da-dee-da.
Yeah. So we made a metal
pull it
version of
up.
that, and the first half is the lyrics that most people are familiar with, in like the modern age of "I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling all right," and then the second half is "I'm blue."
Could I give you all a little tease right here?
Sure.
Whoops. Oh wait.
All right.
Oh my God.
Just as long as they don't throw a copyright. Nice.
Yeah.
I can see you go to the gym, man.
Yeah.
That's what we do. 2 hours every day.
That's what we were kind of bickering about when we first got on the call was who's bigger, who's stronger. But
Well,
it's
I guess we could compromise. You could say you're bigger, but we know I'm stronger.
well,
Well,
it's this type of thing that I think is a very healthy
Rivalry.
competition, right? Because it's just one person can outwork the other person, but
mhm.
if you won't let that happen, then that's pretty healthy, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know if the mosh pits in the United States, but recently I went to a concert here in Puerto Rico and people started doing push-ups.
Whoa, I've never seen that.
I would love to see a video
That'd
of
be
that. That's
awesome.
insane. What
Everybody
band
get
was
down
it?
and give me 10. Yeah, that'd be
What-
sick.
It was no, and they started doing the push-ups, the butterfly push-ups, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Wait, you saw that in person?
Yes, I was watching this black metal band from the US was playing here in Puerto Rico. It was like a small club, and
What was it called?
Uara. I was at the Uara show. And all of the sudden in the mosh pit, this is before Uara played. It was like one of the Puerto Rican bands that was opening. There were people like doing like planks and push-ups.
You know what? I think a couple of calisthenic bros must have gotten into that audience. They wanted to show off a little bit. That's awesome.
I love that, Rex. I think one day, Rex, like you could just yell at the crowd.
No, I'm not gonna. No.
Get down and give me 20.
No, it's a terrible idea.
Make the crowd do push. That'd
No,
be awesome.
That's not awesome.
No. And then
instead of a wall of death, like a wall of push-ups.
That's pretty. I mean,
Or you know what?
I'm on the fence.
make everyone do some jump squats. That'll get your legs burning.
Or worst of all, make everyone do a burpee.
Very quickly turns into Simon Says.
Yeah. So
That would
yeah,
be
so you do those Instagram like reels and mini TikToks. I'm telling you, this generation was made for ADD. Like the attention span is so short. Like it's TikTok. Sometimes I find TikTok annoying, but yeah.
Oh, all the time. Yeah. I think also it was a very gradual change, like over a long period of time, but it has gotten to a point where the content is short content is stimulating that like need for constant like for constant, I guess it's like constant little hits of dopamine, right? Because like every time
Yeah.
you see something new, that's what happens. So like it's kind of on the fault of the consumer, but also partly on just like the fault of the fact that that's algorithmically what's being pushed. So I think that while it is easy to say like, oh, kids these days and and their phones, right? It's also largely like that's what's being pushed so heavily by these algorithms, which are being created by massive corporations because it's all about watch time and that kind of stuff. So I think that unfortunately it will probably continue to get even shorter and even more like crazy sounds, like more slowed down, more sped up, just to keep stimulating the brain in that same kind of way, which is a little unfortunate because that does affect what we do as musicians and as performers and entertainers, because it's hard to capture somebody's attention for more than 5, 10, 15 seconds, right? And I think it'd be a disaster to release a 15-second song. So it's like it does
unless you're a grindcore band.
Yeah, well, it's just one long note.
They'll be like brr, brr, brr. Okay, it's done.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Full song.
And I'm like, that's it.
Could be like 2 measures.
Yeah, but yeah. So then obviously it does kind of feed into the way that we have to approach some things, where it's like you have a 3-minute song where the chorus comes 3 times. How do you keep a listener engaged the entire time? And you've heard people say in production, like every 7 seconds there should be some new element sonically, which I think that's a pretty popular thing for people to say because it's almost like a buzzword at this point, but that doesn't really happen in a lot of great songs. So I do feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between like what the meta is and what the.
So every 7 seconds you need a change.
Every 7 seconds you're supposed to have a new sonic element. So
oh my god,
it's like you have an let's assume 8 measures is 7 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll walk through a song. You have an 8-measure intro, which
unless
is
you're Dream Theater.
Well, no,
Right.
we're not doing Dream Theater. We're doing
Oh my god.
basic.
Imagine Dream Theater trying to make their 18-minute songs into a reel.
But every 7 seconds there's a new sonic element.
It's
Yeah, so like
complicated. Yeah.
if you have like 8 measures, which is 7 seconds, we could figure out what tempo that would be if we had to do the math. But you have the intro, which is establishing the core components, right? So if you're starting with drums, bass, and 2 guitars, like not even any synths, you've already established all those components in your song. So you'd then have to deduct for it to count as an addition later on, and then you only get credit for that addition like one time. So it really does force you into this kind of like overstimulation of songwriting, and I think that it hurts like minimalist songs, but you know, at the same time, you'll have a guy like Drake put out a song where it's 4 minutes of nothing changing, and for some reason, the same generation that needs constant stimulation loves it. So I don't really have an answer.
That happens with all the reggaeton beats.
Called a paradox.
Yeah,
Yeah, the reggaeton beat has the same beat. You can listen to a song like for Carol G or something, and it's the same fucking beat. It's the you name it, the same beat. But yeah, it's interesting. So how did the band form? What's the history of Uncured? How did you guys meet? I know you guys are brothers with the other 2 members.
So we started playing guitar together at the ages of 10 and 12, and we, like everyone, you like start an instrument, you quit a few times, you try different teachers here and there. We ended up like a few years later picking the guitars back up, learning together, writing songs together. And then once we started writing songs together, we started like trying to make our own recordings, and that's where like that was definitely the first step.
Yeah, and sorry, I apologize. And then from
We
there,
started writing songs together.
Yes, yeah. So that was kind of the big spark for us, where we realized that this is what we wanted to do full time. So, like Zach said, when you're first kind of learning anything, you need to get through that
The barrier,
that barrier,
entry.
yeah, to really determine if you like it, if you're potentially good at it, and if it's something you want to continue to pursue. And once we got through that barrier, and like Zach said, started writing our own songs, it was very clear that this is what we wanted to do. And as a result, we both dropped out of high school. I finished 9th grade, Zach finished 11th grade, and then we dropped out. So yeah, no, we do not have any high school equivalency or anything like that. But as I always say, we've learned way more since dropping out than we possibly could have if we were, still running through the hierarchy of schooling systems.
Nice. So you guys are how old are you guys? You look super young.
Take a guess.
Yeah, what do you think?
Like 19 to 20?
I'm 24.
And I'm 22.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Okay,
So we
nice.
started like touring at 16 and 18. So now
Wow.
that's about almost 6 years.
So how's touring life when you're 16? Like, did they let you play in some places, or were they constantly checking you down?
Very few times, like in Canada, when we were under 18, there was, I think we only
when I
like,
was under, yeah,
we only missed like
2.
1 or 2 shows
Yeah,
because
1 or
of it.
2, I think. I remember one specifically, and I mean, I was actually very, very sick at the time. Like my voice was not feeling great, so that was. I still wanted to play the show, obviously, but I was like, okay, well, at least I can.
There was
rest
like
the
12
voice.
there was like 12 in a row or something on the
Yeah, there was a
Soulfly
lot of
tour,
shows in a
yeah.
row. So, that was actually not that common, because usually like if somebody's an artist or performing, I'm not sure why, but they just let you perform.
Yeah, and
so,
then,
which is good.
like
It's a
you
great
just
thing.
can't have beer out at the bar or whatever, but then there's tons of beer back in the green room. So it's like,
Yeah, it is a weird disconnect.
Yeah.
It's like you can drink beer here, but not once you cross this line. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I'm guessing like touring at 16 has to be like really interesting, and maybe like your parents has to sign something like for you guys to tour. So yeah, you've been touring, and so you're putting out an EP. Do you have plans? Because I was discussing this other day with an artist, like it's more viable now to release EPs than full albums. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's better to release EPs, or do you want to have like a full album at some time?
well, artistically aside, nowadays there's obviously with so much media and things online, it's like sometimes you see an artist that releases like a 30-song album. I know like some country artists do it, and it's like, oh geez, that's
It's daunting.
it's daunting. But if you just like, if your favorite band just releases one song, it's like, oh, I'll listen to it right now. Or a band that you like, doesn't even need to be your favorite. They put out a song. It's like, oh, I'll listen to it right now, this second.
And it does kind of, we will circle back to the first thing that you said, but if an artist puts out one song and you listen to it, then you've kind of like conditioned yourself. Like next time they put out a single, you're probably just gonna hit it, right? And let's say the artist is just putting out an EP and you listen to 2 of the singles, you've already listened to almost half of it, so like you may as well go ahead and finish it. Whereas if you heard 2 songs out of, like Zach said, a 30-song record, it's gonna feel more like, well, now I have to hear the whole thing and I need to set aside time to do it.
It's
you
like
push it off, you know.
Like, or one of your favorite bands releases 10 songs at once. It's like an hour and a half. It's like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna listen to this weekend. I can't wait. But then this weekend comes around, you just like don't make the time for it because it's like such a big time commitment as opposed to just listening to one song.
Yeah, I guess it's not really like such a big time commitment, but in like the world of modern times,
like for example, the Smashing Pumpkins, which I love them, they put out an album this year that is divided in 3 times, and it is like a rock opera, and I love them, but it's like like Billy Corgan, like at this moment, like this, it's not the time to release such a huge album. And I reviewed the first 2 ones, and I'm gonna review when they release the last batch of songs. Instead of releasing it's 33 songs. Instead of releasing 33 songs at once, they release every like 11 and whatever, and now it's at an end. But it's daunting because back in the day, in the 90s, there were like double albums, and I think the internet and wasn't as fast, and people like sometimes took time to listen to music. But now you have video games, you have streaming services, you have so many things that I think that's why like super long albums is something that it's like something like of the past, like having such a long album.
You're competing with other things, right? So you have an hour-long album, which is actually, not that long for an album. Your average 14-year-old is thinking like, an hour, I could scroll through like 1,000 TikToks in that amount of time. It's like you get a certain amount of stimulus from an album, regardless of how much of like an artistic masterpiece it is.
Right. Like also an hour and a half, like people don't usually these days sit and listen to music for an hour and a half, but they can sit and watch Netflix for 5 hours.
Yeah,
but
which is kind of strange when you think about it.
But like music, I know when people used to have to drive out to the record store back in the day, it's an event going to drive to get the music. So then you make an event of listening to it because you're really excited. But now if it's just all on your phone, it's like, oh, I'll listen to this album this weekend, and then you forget about it. And then
it's one of those kind of work reward things. So like if
Except me, I'm a reviewer, I need to listen to it.
Oh yeah.
But like to circle back to a band in our position, it only makes sense to release singles at this point. So like we can get people to listen to it, click on it, and then
eventually wrap it up into a record with more songs.
And then
because you're a new band, you want people to have a taste of Uncured, because you're getting the wider audience. But since you guys are young, you know the formula to keep them engaged, because you're in that generation. But I'm old as fuck. I'm 45.
That's not
old as fuck.
We're catching up.
Yeah. As every year goes by, I'm starting to think like, oh man, I'm not touring in my teenage years anymore. This is I'm getting into mid-20s, and it's like there's just a shift in the mentality.
Mid-20s.
I'm gonna be 23 eventually.
Still not mid. Like,
no, you need to be 25 for the mid.
Right. Okay. So I'm almost 25.
Oh. But I mean, it kind of comes back to that, like we were talking about a little bit, the work reward. So if you just get an album and it's immediately there, you didn't put in any like work for it, so you have less reward, on the back end of consuming it. Whereas if you were to physically go somewhere, like, and this is part of why I think shows have people continuing to come back, right? Is like there is more work involved. You have to pay money. Shows aren't free. Then you have to drive there, dedicate time, and as a result, I think that the concert experience now is so much stronger than the experience of listening to a song on Spotify. Because you can't compete with the energy and all that kind of stuff, but also like there is something that happens to your brain, like psychologically, where you've put in work, so you get a greater reward with the product.
I love watching. I like listening to music and records, but when it's live, it's better. You have that energy, the crowd, the feel. Back in the day, you could get the lighters, and now you get all the fucking phones
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
light in there.
And we
The only
do
thing
that.
I can't stand when I go to a show is there's always this fucking guy or girl that has the phone and is recording the whole fucking show. I just
There's
want to my God, you mean to tell me that you went out to record the whole fucking show and you're not in the moment, you're not experiencing the show? Like what I do is like I record like parts of a song and then I put my phone down and I want to see the show.
Like sometimes you want to, capture your favorite parts of the songs, or like when we were at a big festival watching the headliner, I was like, I want to capture the best fire when it's coming out of the stage.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like when we
but
not
recording the
playing
whole
music,
fucking
yeah.
show, I just want to like take their phone and break it. But I
some
can't.
people have done that. Yeah,
I
Corey
mean,
Taylor
as
did that.
when like being on the stage, I'm always happy when people are filming the show, because that means they want to post it, show it to their friends, and that's really what like young bands need.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I know like if you're filming the whole time, you're not paying attention, but we do
Yeah, but
love
not
when,
the whole fucking show. Like
yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I do really appreciate seeing that as a performer, and I know that some people have said the opposite, but I think it can only help.
Right. If they're texting, that's
Yeah, that's
different.
different because you can tell the difference between somebody filming and somebody like, and we have seen both, and obviously that's not super appreciated. But maybe they have some like family member that's at the airport.
yeah, you never know. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there was a concert with Disturbed that he was mad that someone was on the phone, but it was an emergency.
Their house flooded or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's what
Something.
happened. I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
he was like heckling, from what I understand, like heckling a lady in the audience.
I wonder if he like yelled at her in his monkey voices.
But like, I mean, if you get that call, then you think you just like get out of there so you could hear.
Yeah.
No, it was like texting. She was trying because she was trying to stay at the show because she like,
shit.
it was like an expensive balcony seat, and she really, from what I understand, really wanted to see the show. So like trying to stay, it was like trying to get her daughter to fix it or something.
Well, hopefully at least Disturbed made it up to her, or apologized, or free tickets or something.
I think they did. I'm pretty sure Disturbed is all great people.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
Rex, no heckling people at the show.
Yeah.
I'll heckle whoever I want to heckle.
Yeah, and then there's like Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden that was mad that people were smoking pot
Really?
in front of him in the show.
I've never heard that.
Well, maybe if it's messing up his singing, you think he got like frustrated, or felt like he wasn't performing as well? I don't know.
Yeah, that was probably I don't know the situation, but I can't imagine that was anger that was legitimately directed at that. It was probably more of an outlet to express his frustration about something else.
But I would say the guys in Iron Maiden probably know by now that there's going to be
pot at
a show.
Yeah, usually Iron Maiden is not known like a pot smoking like type of environment. It's more like drinking. But if you're like in a like a reggae show or something like that, you have to expect it.
I mean, if they're probably playing like a lot of big outdoor venues too, and it's probably more likely outdoors than indoors.
Yeah, probably. So before I let you guys go, like let's play this game. What would be a dream tour that you would like to go see? And what would be a dream tour that you would perform? Like which band would you like to open for? That would be like a dream. Like, yeah.
So I would love to tour with a band like Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides. I love them as well, and just because they have like Motionless in White is one of the biggest bands in metal right now. I love listening to their songs. They have a unique aesthetic, catchy choruses, heavy riffs. It's just a genre I love, and but also it would be sick to tour with like the all famous Metallica, because it's Metallica. Maybe get up there, play Enter Sandman with them.
You go up to Lars and James and tell them you can have an intro of 90 minutes.
No. They can do whatever they want.
So, can I play that? Can I play Enter Sandman with you guys?
Yeah.
You play the solo, I'll play the rhythm. I just want to be up there.
And I guess to answer your other question is I did see the Trinity of Terror tour with Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides, and Ice Nine Kills, and that was my favorite show I've ever seen, because it was 3 bands at the top of their game that all just sounded fantastic. The production was fantastic, and it was just inspiring to see.
Yeah, and what band would you like to open for?
I would give the same answer. Motionless in White is the one that we always say was like a kind of a dream to play with. Because I like we have our different tastes in music, but I think that we agree that's like the best band in metal right
Be a
now.
good fit for us too.
Yeah. I think that their last record um was one of the best albums that I've heard in a very long time, and definitely the best album that I think has come out in recent years. As far as production and songwriting and lyrics and messaging, I think everything was just fantastic. So yeah, I mean, we look up to that band a lot, and a variety of other bands as well. But that's the first one that usually comes to mind.
That's
Cool.
right.
Awesome. So I know you guys are playing that rock bill, but what are the future plans, immediate plans for Uncured? Like, are you more tours on the way? I know obviously you will have the EP dropping sometime in the summer.
Yes, so we just announced about 18 shows. We have dates before and after Rockville, and we're playing Incarceration, which is another big festival. Like Pantera is on it, Limp Bizkit, bands like that. That's in July, and we're gonna have tour dates in and out of that probably all over the U.S. That's or Midwest area as well because that show is in Ohio, and hopefully we'll be announcing like a big fall tour for later this year.
Nice, awesome. So people, you can listen to Uncured. They're on the streaming services. Their latest single is called "Let's Break Out," and they have a few other singles. So if you like that modern type of rock, like with alternative and like sing along choruses, enjoy. Like I said, I mentioned like a Breaking Benjamin style, like
Oh, I love
Awesome.
them,
I
yeah.
love that comparison. Thank
something
you.
like that. You will enjoy this. So I want to thank both of you, for taking some time to talk with me, and hopefully you have some great times in the upcoming tours. And after watching your video with the huge arms, I'm going to go to the gym
Ah,
in a little
awesome.
bit.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us. And if that's what you take away from this, that's a big
There
success.
we
So
go.
thank you very much.
I may be a shield dude on a couch, but I'm a fit dude on a couch.
Fit chill
Nice.
do on the couch.
There
you
we
go.
go.
I
Yeah.
exercise. Just because I'm shield, it doesn't mean that I don't take care of myself. So
That's
people listen to Uncured, and I'll put a link to, you can go to their page and to their music video and check them out. So until
Thanks so
next time,
much.
fantastic.
people, this is
Thank you so
Hector,
much.
the shield doing a couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank
All right.
you and good night.